Hello once again. I'm Bob Weber, and we're going to do another edition tonight of Conversations. This week we're looking at John 18, and actually we're going to be going not only John 18, but a portion of John 19. Let me start by asking you a question. What are the kinds of things that can go bad in your life? What about if you were betrayed by a friend? Say you're in a business and your friend happens to embezzle all the money and leave town and leave you with nothing. You'd feel pretty bad. What about also if all your friends desert you and act like they don't even know you anymore? That would feel pretty bad too. How about if you endured a miscarriage of justice? You were accused of doing something you didn't do, and they accused you of it in such a way that it sounded like you were really guilty, and they tried to make you guilty of that. That's pretty bad as well. In this chapter, we will see Jesus being accused or actually having to endure all of those things. Not only that, but after he endures those things, he's all alone. There's nobody there with him. There's nobody there to support him. More than that, they're going to kill him. Things have gotten pretty bad here. The first thing we see in John 18 is that Judas betrays Jesus into the hands of the authorities. Jesus knew that Judas was going to be the one to do it, but I can't imagine it felt any better even if he knew that it was going to happen. After that, Peter denies Jesus 3 times. He denies 3 times that he even knew Jesus. And his wasn't nearly as bad as Judas, I suppose, but it wasn't any worse, I don't think, than the fact that the apostles all deserted him. Nobody hung around. Nobody was there in the trial other than John, who seems kind of powerless to do anything about it. And then we have, during this whole series of questions and answers between him and Pilate and the Pharisees and the leaders of the Jews, we have what is really a miscarriage of justice. It's quite notable in the Gospel of John that Pilate makes it very clear several times over that he can find no reason to charge Jesus with a crime. He's done nothing against the laws of Rome. He's certainly done nothing against Caesar other than the fact he claims to be a king, but his claim to be a king, he says it's from another place. Essentially, it has nothing to do with Caesar. We'll see how that plays out with him. But the fact is, Pilate cannot find any reason to kill him, cannot find any reason to give him the death penalty. Well, the leaders of the Jews are quite persistent about the whole thing. Pilate has Jesus flogged. He has him beaten. I'm not quite sure whether he does that to try to appease the Jews, and he brings them out. He says, well, here's the man you're accusing, and it doesn't do any good. They still want him dead. He tries to release Jesus even again. And Jesus ends up having some discussion with him because the Jews accuse him of claiming to be the Son of God. Well, at least there's finally a charge here. It's not a charge against any civil authorities, so there's nothing that Pilate can really do about that. But it shakes Pilate up just enough that he goes back and talks to Jesus about that particular accusation. Jesus says, my authority and your authority comes from another place. And there's a higher power that's working in all this. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's basically what he's trying to say. Pilate gets even more concerned about that, and he goes back to the Jews and he says, look, I still can't find anything to do that would be legitimate for me to charge this guy with a crime and have him crucified. And finally, the Jews manipulate him. The leaders of the Jews, they just finally tell Pilate that he's no friend of Caesar if there's any other king besides Caesar, and they try to tell him that they have no king but Caesar, which is a flat-out lie. They don't really honor Caesar as king. They would never do that. Had they the opportunity, they would rebel and throw off the Roman shackles anytime they had the chance. But the fact is, they want Jesus dead no matter what they have to do to make it happen. Think about those things. That's our discussion for the week, and I hope you'll take a look at that passage, John 18 up through John 19, the first part of John 19. Have a good discussion this week, and we'll see you next time.